Pleasure to welcome on to the Front Stretch podcast this week, two-time winner, not just in the Truck Series this year, but at Daytona International Speedway, ThorSport Racing's Ben Rhodes. That's got to feel pretty good to be introduced as a two-time winner at the World Center of Racing.
Yeah, that feels pretty nice. It's not a title that I think I would have at this point. To be honest, I kind of came into the season with, just some expectations of getting some wins down the road, but not out of the gate. So this is pretty cool.
And it's your first time winning at Daytona, right? And you did it twice back-to-back in a row to open up the season. You're locked into the playoffs, got a stranglehold on playoff points. Did you ever imagine growing up in Kentucky that you'd be winning at Daytona International Speedway?
I always dreamed about it, but I never imagined, it would come true. But I dreamed about it for sure. I probably dreamed about winning that race no less than 20 times in my life.
Damn. And look at you now.
Yeah.
Crazy how life works, isn't it? Yes, you did. Let's talk a little bit more about ThorSport as a whole and their start to the season because – you guys announced your switch to Toyota pretty late in the offseason, but things were obviously in the works way before that announcement. But in terms of getting off the ground running, I don't think you could do much better than this. Obviously, not all of your drivers and teams have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, but 2 wins, 2 races with a new manufacturer for the start of the year. I feel like team morale as a whole has got to be pretty high at the moment.
Well, yeah, and it's not just our 99 team. Like Johnny Sauter got the pole for the Daytona Speedway race. So ThorSport has locked out the poles and locked out the wins so far this season. So team morale is for sure at a high. On our 99 team, we couldn't be happier. We're having a great time. Everybody in the shop's having, they're on the setup plate right now, and they're just joking around, cutting up, and getting stuff done. And I'm pretty impressed with how efficient they are too. Like for us to be a new team all working together, like we're a new group of guys paired together, and the way they work together right now, it's like they've known each other for years and been working together for years. It's been enjoyable.
So you said it's like a new pairing of guys. So do you have a lot of new members on your specific team this year?
Yeah, so we have some that are new to ThorSport, some that are just new to working together, and some that are new in their respective positions. So it's yeah, a lot of newness, right? But so far so good. Even my spotter's brand new to me, TJ Bell, and we've just hit it off. And I was telling somebody the other day that when I had the opportunity to work with TJ Bell, I didn't even listen to audio. I just jumped on it. I just thought it was I thought it was going to be a great thing, and so far so good. He's been really good for me.
Did you jump from TJ to TJ?
Well, TJ Majors had some other things come up where he was kind of having to stick with another Ford.
Yeah.
He was having to stick with a Ford in the series. So when all that was happening, it was kind of late in the running. It was late in going. It was pretty close to Daytona. So I started putting some feelers out, seeing what was available, and everybody I was talking to was getting signed up before I could ever lock anybody down.
Right.
And TJ Bell actually called up here and he said, "Hey, what's it going to take to work with Ben?" And I said, "It doesn't take anything. You're hired."
It doesn't take much, right?
No, when I knew that he wanted to work with me, I mean, I thought that was such a huge compliment because TJ's been around forever. He's done so many cool things. He's got a lot of cool life experience too. And I just thought he'd be a huge asset. And so far, so good. He's been calm and kept me calm too.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep you calm, period. And then it's hard to keep you calm. No, I'm kidding. And then, but I mean, think about it though. Like Daytona Speedway race, that's hectic every sense of the word. Daytona road course racing is hectic, and then you throw in a little bit of rain here and there, and triple overtime in the longest race in the Truck Series history. That's pretty hectic too. And he just has those dulcet tones on the roof, just telling you to hit your marks. It's all good. Put it in the rear view. So he's doing pretty solid as well. It's funny how that came together pretty late, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
No, absolutely. And I mean, everything was coming together perfectly. And, after the first win at Daytona, somebody said, "Hey, do you realize that the next win in a truck would be Toyota's 200th win?" I was like, "No way. That'd be so cool." In my mind, I was almost like, man, it would have been nice to get that for him. I'm sure somebody else might get the win before us by that point. And, I didn't imagine coming back to, the road course that we would do that. And that, I mean, it makes me so happy. And the fact that road course was like such an intimidating race for me because of how we ran last year, we were able to kind of conquer it, which was nice.
Yeah. That's a big win though for Toyota. 200 in the Truck Series and in NASCAR. I mean, that I know you don't take that lightly, specifically because you got them that mark. I mean, there's a lot of different people in the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series that, you know, they've won Rick Hendrick's 200th race or Chevrolet's 500th race. Toyota has been a mainstay in the sport for over a decade at this point. They've won championships. They're a perennial championship manufacturer, and they're going to be going down in the history books as one of the best manufacturers in NASCAR history. And you got them this 200th win. That is an incredible milestone, and I know it means a lot to you personally as well.
Well, I think I got lucky really that timing played out the way that it did, that we could do that. I had a lot of luck involved, right?
Yeah.
But I also had a lot of really good people behind us. And I think the other cool aspect of that is, Bombardier came on as a sponsor. Like, we announced it at Daytona, like, hey, everybody, Bombardier's on the truck this year. And it was like, who's Bombardier? Oh, they make Learjets. Oh, that's cool. We know what a Learjet is. And the fact that they come on, never been in NASCAR before, now they're 2-0.
2 for 2.
We've had to tell them, hey, guys, you can't expect all 22 races. Like, this has been good. We're going to do what we can, but don't expect 22 races here.
It's like, sorry, it's all going to go downhill from here. Not too bad, but just don't expect this every week, okay?
Yeah. I mean, somebody put that to me the other day. I was like, well, that sounds really pessimistic. It's all downhill from here. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, you're perfect so far. You can't keep that up forever.
Yeah, like you got to be realistic about it.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, that's a way to get a sponsor interested in the sport and hopping on a board with you. I mean, you win twice in a row, they're signing back up for more.
Well, that was the fun thing is we actually had a couple people that reached out that were interested after the Daytona performances, and that was pretty cool. We've got some folks at ThorSport that have been communicating with them, and I mean, look, winning, the saying goes, winning cures all, right? And there's nothing better than that, and it's good on so many fronts. So, yeah, I'm happy. We've been cleaning rubber off the trucks from the burnouts.
Good stuff. We like that problem.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Absolutely. So where do you live at, Ben? I know you're from Kentucky, but the shop's in Ohio. You're at the shop right now. Where do you live?
Yeah, so I'm still out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
I still live there. I still fly the flag on my truck. I still fly. Somebody asked me the other day. They said, "What's that flag or that symbol in front of your name on your suit?" And it's Kentucky. I'm a big Kentucky fan, and I travel to Charlotte a lot. I go to Charlotte all the time.
I mean, that's why I asked.
Supplies, whatever it is, we're there a lot, and I've got this travel from Charlotte to Sandusky to Louisville.
It's like the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's it. It's not fun, but it's well worth it to be home around friends and family.
Do you get to go up to Sandusky to see everybody at the shop, maybe like once a week, once every other week, something like that?
Yeah, for sure. So Sandusky for me is about anywhere from a 5 to 6 hour drive, depending on traffic and how you time going through all the cities correctly. So yeah, I go up every week, every 2 weeks, really. I try to be here, and it's a lot of travel, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
What do you do to pass the time on that drive?
Yeah, I've got podcasts, so I listen to podcasts, music, and then I'm on the phone constantly on the drive, so I figure this is a good time to call people and catch up.
Yeah.
So I do that as much as I can.
Well, you can listen to this wonderful Front Stretch podcast next time you head up there, and you can listen to my personal one, Victory Lane, as well, which you are a former guest on. I don't know if you remember, but that was when we did some British accents together. Or no, it was Australian accents with Marcus Ambrose impersonations. You remember that?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I know. It was like 2 years ago in Vegas. Oddly enough, it was in Vegas. I remember that.
Man, you got a good memory. I couldn't remember the racetrack.
Yeah, I do remember that. Because I remember it was I don't think it was. Oh no, I think it was like 100 degrees that weekend. Maybe I was wrong, but I don't know. Vegas 100 degrees. It's like every other day. So who knows?
That's not as bad as 90 degrees in Daytona. Daytona,
dude, I would take like 110 in Vegas over like 80 in Daytona any day of the week. I hated when people said, "Oh, it's a dry heat. It's fine." I was like, "What do you mean? It's 110?" And then I actually felt it for the first time in my life, and I was like, "I am sorry. I will never doubt you. I will take this any day of the week." Humidity sucks.
Yeah, 100%. And you don't know that until you go and experience both ends of the spectrum, and you're like, "Oh yeah,
yeah, it's work. Plus, dry heat, you can dry the track quicker in case it rains, and if it's humid, it just stays in the air. It's a whole thing. So NASCAR, we like dry heat.
Yes. 100%.
Yes. Let's talk a little bit more about ThorSport as a team. You were asked about this in the post-race presser at Daytona, partly by me, and you were like, okay, you're trying to get me in trouble here. Len's over there. She's over my shoulder. So if I got you in trouble, I'm sorry. But I will give you an out here. I want to ask you about like the radio chatter on ThorSport's teams in general. You said some stuff. Johnny says some stuff. Johnny says way more stuff than you on a weekly basis. I understand that. But you said afterwards that really doesn't mean anything. It's the heat of the moment. Johnny's been a really big mentor and influence to you in your Truck Series career. It's heat of the moment. You guys are friends. All good, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we all chalk it up to.
Yeah.
So, racing is I mean, at least for me, it's a very passionate thing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I get maybe more animated than I should at times and say things I probably shouldn't say at times. But, it's so tough. Like, everybody's always on drivers. They want you to show emotion, but then you show emotion and you get criticized or you get, fined for it or whatever. But then you don't show emotion. And then all of a sudden, you're Mr. Vanilla. And there's just never like a happy medium. So I need to quit pushing the button when I feel certain ways. I was definitely frustrated at the time. I was trying to get around Johnny for a while, and I got kind of ran off the track a little bit. And it's just part of racing, man. And the road courses at like Daytona, where it's such a technical and tight infield, it makes it tough.
Yeah, especially with the limited passing zones and stuff. I'll push back on that. I don't think you should lay off the button. Keep on the button, because like you said, no, seriously. I mean, it's a conundrum that sponsors and team owners and PR representatives are trying to navigate right now, which is NASCAR is, obviously the decline happened. I feel like, and you can tell me your thoughts. I mean, besides MJ, Pitbull, all these celebrities coming in and all the attention, I feel like it's back on the upswing. And part of that is because a lot of drivers, notable ones, I mean, Kyle Busch and Cup, Denny Hamlin's Twitter game this week's been unreal. I mean, like, drivers are not afraid to speak their minds and say what's on their minds and push buttons proverbially and physically. So I think, and you too, like, even in your post-race presser, you're one of the most like animated people, whether it's out of sheer joy or out of sheer anger. We've seen both from you, obviously. Like, you're one of the most animated people in the Truck Series garage for sure. And I think that's why you have a loyal fan base and a loyal following, because people resonate with that. And NASCAR fans across the board resonate with that. So I'll say keep pushing the button, because it's doing wonders for you. You're 2 for 2, so don't fix anything. You got nothing to fix.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm polarizing, maybe I'm not. I don't know, but I don't know. I have a hard time keeping my emotions in, I guess. I'm just passionate about it. And I like to think I'm a logical thinker at times, but we're all human, and I definitely have an emotional family. Like, I get it honest.
You do. It's a good problem to have. So it's not the end of the world. Let's talk about your career in general just for a second. I mean, I feel like you're becoming one of those guys in the Truck Series who's been in it for a while. Obviously not on the Matt Crafton level, the Johnny Sauter level, the Ron Hornaday Jr., Dennis Setzer type level yet, but you've been in it for a little bit. And when you get to a certain point, whether it's fans, media, sponsors, they tend to put a label on a driver and say, oh, they're going to be in the Truck Series forever, or like, they won't go to Xfinity, they won't go to Cup. What do you think of that? Do you want to stay in trucks for a while? Do you have aspirations of moving up? I'm sure every driver, in some sense, always wants to move up, but you have a good home right now, and you've made a home for yourself at ThorSport.
Well, and I think that, so this might be an unpopular opinion for some, but I think for people to say that, oh, you're just a truck driver, oh, you're just Xfinity or whatever, I think that stuff's BS, because I think there are plenty of drivers in Xfinity and truck right now that could go win many a Cup races and win Cup championships. If they're in the right equipment, right situation. And the caliber of drivers that are in the sport, it's stacked. The Truck Series itself, I think, is pretty darn stacked. And, I don't see anything wrong with being able to make a career out of one series. Everybody says, oh, you got to be in the Cup Series. And yeah, Cup Series was a goal of mine since I was a kid. It'd be great to run some races there one day. I'd love to make championship runs and do all that stuff. But at the same time, you have to take a step back and say, what's the current state of the sport, where there's only so many good seats, right, in each series, seats that can win, seats that, will fulfill, what you wanted to do. And right now I'm in, I think one of the best seats in the truck series, ThorSport Racing.
Yeah.
So I saw something the other day. They were talking about Joe Gibbs Racing, saying, they looked at Harrison Burton, Ty Gibbs, and one other young guy over there, and they said, hey, where are these young guys going to go? And if I'm an older driver, I'm going to start looking over my shoulder. But there's nowhere for drivers to go. There's only so many seats. So I'm so happy at ThorSport. They've been like a family to me, and it's been stable, and I've got the opportunity to race for wins. So I say, why do I need to look outside and, try to cause some sort of unhappiness in my life when I'm perfectly happy here? And if some crazy opportunity comes along, we can look at that in the future. But you better believe that I'm going to involve Duke and Rhonda Thorson on it, because they've been some of my greatest, friends and mentors, and they're like family now in the series. So, you better believe I'm going to, talk to them about everything I can.
I don't think I can add anything else to that other than if you're happy and you're competing for wins and you're making a living, which you are for all three, why change it up?
I'm happy. And, like I said, if something crazy comes along, we'll evaluate that at that time. But I'm happy here. And you just look at the sport and you say, where's everybody going to go? I'm happy where I'm at. So, and I'm racing for wins and championships and all that stuff. And it's been my dream since I was a kid. I'm getting to live it. So I'm just thankful, really.
Amen, brother. I hear you on that. So you mentioned it there. You think this is the best chance for you to win this championship in the Truck Series this season? You're obviously off to the best start that you've had in your career. You think this is the best shot you got?
Yeah, so here's the thing. We end Daytona every year. We go to Daytona, very first race of the season. We get our hopes up. We're running, one of the top lines for the past 3 years. We're leading a line, and then we get wrecked, and then we have like no points to show for it.
Yeah. And
then you're digging yourself out of this hole for several races, and then you're hoping to get a win, and then you feel this pressure and this, that, and now we've got more bonus points than I've ever had for the playoffs before. We're sitting pretty, and the overall points as well. So yeah, if we're going to make a run at it, this is for sure the best. But those bonus points, those playoff points make such a difference in your overall season.
Yeah.
And I don't think myself as a young driver realized how important it is to start your season off correctly. I would have been fine with a top 5 at Daytona, just because I realize now, I've been in the series long enough, I realize it's really important to come off that race with a good finish.
Yeah.
You can't control everything, but you have to finish good.
For sure. So what's got to be different this year for you to get over that hump, get to the championship 4, put yourself in position to have a shot at Phoenix? Because you've gotten close before, you've won races before, but you haven't gotten over that mountain, proverbially, so to speak, to get that championship. What's got to be different this year?
Consistency for sure. And last year we were the most consistent truck out of ThorSport, I think, looking at stats. But we need to be consistently faster than that. You know what I'm saying? We finished more laps than anybody in the Truck Series last year. We ran more miles than anybody. We had the highest average finish at ThorSport. But, that was because we didn't have as many lows, but we also didn't have as many highs as some of the other people. So we need to have more highs. We need to just be consistent, no lows. And I think the key is no mistakes. I've been preaching since I knew I was going to be with these guys this year. I said, look, top 5 them to death. I said, I know everybody puts pressure on all these wins, but a real champion and a real veteran will tell you that top 5 them to death and you can win the championship just fine. Just top 5s. And if you're running top 5 enough, you're going to get a win. We were running Darlington, and we're not the fastest truck last year. We just ran the top 5 all day, didn't have any mistakes, and boom, the seas parted, people went and pitted, we stayed out, and we got a good restart and won the race. So we just got to be smart.
Put yourself in a position to capitalize on the moment presents itself. So that's what you've done in the past couple weeks, and it's worked, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. Vegas, maybe you can go 3 for 3, make Bombardier all the more happy.
I would love that, but I'm going to keep on preaching what I'm preaching. And that's, hey guys, let's get us a top 5 stages. And you know what? We'll cross that bridge when it comes to us. If the opportunity's there, we'll take it, but I'm not going to force the issue either.
We got to get with Len or Duke and Ron and get like some T-shirts made up that says "Top 5 them to death" or something, and you guys can wear them every weekend to the track. And then when you get to Phoenix and you're in the Final Four, you can be like, "See, told you, it worked."
It works. Well, Kraft improved it, man.
I know.
I mean, straight up. I mean, just a straight up veteran. He just outperformed everybody with his experience, and said, "You know what? We may not be the fastest this year at every race, but doggone it, we're going to go win us a championship because we're the smartest."
That's right.
And they did that.
And you're even off to a better start than him. You got more playoff points already. So top 5 to death, and we'll be on our way.
You're making my optimism meter be pegged right now. I'm so optimistic I can't stand it.
Well, unfortunately, we got to cut that optimism off because we're out of time. But Ben, this has been fun. Thanks for taking the time with us today, and hopefully you have some good listening material on your 5-6 hour drive coming up.
I'm sure I will. Thanks.